Happy Fri-YAY, everybody! We made it to day 5 of home instruction. Woohoo! Here's Otto with your joke of the day. What does a cloud wear under his raincoat?
Happy Fri-YAY, everybody! Woohoo! We made it through 5 days of home instruction. It might have been a little crazy at first trying to figure things out, but I think we've got a groove now, and next week things will be even better, right? So, without further ado, let's get to yesterday's riddle. What has hands but can't clap? If you guessed clock, you are correct. Once again, I'm very impressed with how smart you guys are. Today's riddle is, what gets wetter the more it dries? What gets wetter the more it dries? Think about it. Let me know in the comments below. Email me or try out our new Seesaw account and see if you can leave me a message there. Okay? Now, moving right along into our writing assignment for today. So in week 1, day 5, it says to complete the questioning 5 W's. And that is a sheet in your packet of work for week 1. And I don't have it printed out, so I just kind of drew my own version of it. And it looks something like this. I think there's like 2 little like snowmen or something like that at the top. And it says questioning 5 W's, who, where, when, what, and why. And I'm going to show you how to fill this out today. But first I thought I'd read you a story and then we could fill it out together. And then depending on whatever book you are reading or a book that you've read this week, you can fill in your sheet based on that. Or I'll show you an alternate thing to do with it as well. So I picked out a little book, and it's written by K.K. Ross, but it's illustrated by one of my favorite illustrators. I discovered her when I was in college, and I actually did a whole independent study on her work. And her name is Jane Dyer, and this book is called Cozy in the Woods. And I just love her illustrations. They're so pretty. So I hope you like the book. And then after I finish reading it, we'll fill out the 5 questions, or the 5 W's. Cozy in the Woods. Once upon a time, a little girl came to live in a cozy cottage in the woods. Her name was Violet, which was also her favorite color. One day, as Violet was building, that's terrible, a cozy fire in her cozy kitchen, she heard a knock on her door. "Who's there?" she called out. "Quack, quack," came the answer. Violet opened the door. "Welcome to the woods," said Duck, waddling in with a gift of watercress. "Why, thank you," said Violet. "Won't you stay and visit?" So Duck made herself comfy before the cozy fire. A little later, they heard a knock, knock. Now, before we go to the next page, I noticed a new vocabulary word that you might not be familiar with, and that word is watercress. I can get it in there. There you go. And watercress is a plant that we can eat. It's actually very good for you. It almost, in a way, kind of looks like parsley. If you're familiar with what parsley looks like, it just doesn't have like those curly edges that, or sharp edges that parsley might have. It's more rounded. You can look it up online if you want to know what watercress looks like. But it's very good. I've made watercress soup before. Violet opened the door, and in scampered Squirrel with a bag of nuts. Chitter, chitter, chee, said Squirrel. These are for you. Thank you kindly, said Violet. Won't you please stay? So Squirrel curled up beside Duck before the cozy fire. Soon there came another knock, knock. Violet opened the door. Woof, woof, barked Dog, bowing low and handing her a fine soup bone. Welcome. Thanks ever so, said Violet. Won't you visit a while? So Dog trotted in and sat beside Squirrel and Duck before the cozy fire. Just then there was a thump, thump, thump. Can you guess who the thump, thump, thump might be? If you've ever seen the movie Bambi, that'll give you a hint. Who in the world could that be? Wondered Violet as she opened the door. In bounded 3 bunny brothers, bearing carrots, turnips, and rutabagas. Thanks, fellas, said Violet. Would you like to come in? The bunnies wiggled their noses, yes, yes, yes. Then they hopped over and sat by Dog, Squirrel, and Duck before the cozy fire. Next, Nanny Goat came by. Ma, ma, said Nanny Goat to Violet. This is for you, my dear. And she gave Violet a pail of her very own milk. How sweet, said Violet. Please stay and visit. But Nanny Goat didn't have a chance to sit by the cozy fire because... Knock, knock, knock. A boy with bright orange hair peeked in. Oh dear, said Violet, for her cozy house was now quite crowded. I'm Timothy, said the boy. I thought you might like some help cooking supper for all your new friends. Supper, said Violet. What a dandy idea. Please come right in. So, with a little help from the animals, Violet and Timothy used the many gifts to make a scrumptious meal of spicy stew and crispy salad with super nutty pudding for dessert. They're pretty good cooks. Then everybody sat down to eat it before the cozy fire. When supper was all gone and the dishes all washed and the counters all cleaned, each guest thanked Violet in his or her own special way. Quack, quack, chitter, chitter, chee, woof, woof, thump, 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 ma, and thanks. And thank you for coming over and for bringing such perfect presents, said Violet. With friends like you, I'll always be cozy in the woods. The end. So now, let's look at that questioning 5Ws page. So your writing for this for today is going to go along with a book that you've read, or in just a minute I'll show you what else you can use it for. So if I'm going to use this with Cozy in the Woods, the first question is who? Who are the characters? Do you remember? I'm sure one of you remembers one of them. So obviously the main character is Violet. So in that little box, I'm going to write Violet. And then there was Duck, right? And Squirrel. And who came next? Dog. And then we had the nanny goat, right? And we had the rabbits. and then Timothy. And then it asks you where. So in the where box, we want to write, where is this story taking place? So it's taking place in the woods in a cozy cottage, right? So I'm going to write that down. We could even say that it's taking place in Violet's cozy cottage, right? So instead of in a cozy cottage, I'm going to write in Violet's cozy cottage. When? When is this story taking place? Let's go back and look at the book. I don't remember it saying exactly when it was taking place, but this is when we can use some illustrations to help us answer questions that might not be in the words. So if you remember before we left school, we use illustrations and pictures to help us put pieces of the puzzle together to have a stronger comprehension about what's going on. Because sometimes the author isn't going to write everything that's being said, but you can see it in the pictures by doing a little detective work. So if I go back to the very beginning and I take a look even at the cover page, what do you notice? I'm noticing a lot of things. And then let's go to this page here. This, I think, is going to give us a lot of clues. So the things that I'm noticing are, one, all of the trees are covered with leaves. And then I'm noticing that there's fruit growing on, it looks like an apple tree maybe. I can see some apples growing on that tree. I see, it might be hard for you to see, there's flowers, right? I see some flowers down here and even up here in her picture box, window picture box that they call that. And then another really big clue. Hold on. Oh, here's another one. There's more flowers, right? In the illustrations, it's telling us when. Have you figured out when yet? But think about the animals that came to visit. A squirrel, rabbits, a duck. Do any of those animals stick around during winter? No. They either hibernate or they migrate, right? Well, squirrels you might see in the winter. I take that back. But it's telling me that this story is not taking place in the winter. It's not taking place in the fall, and it most likely isn't taking place in the spring just because of how full and lush and green and developed everything is, right? Apples don't magically appear on trees in the spring. We have to wait until the end of summer or fall, the beginning of fall, for apples to come on the trees. And the flowers will start to show up in the spring, but not everything, all the trees are lush with leaves and whatnot. So I'm going to say that this story is taking place in the summer, right? If you agree with me, I hope so. And then what? What's happening? What happened in this story? So think beginning, middle, end, right? In the beginning, Violet moved into a cozy house, right? So I'm just going to put a B for beginning. So short little notes, you don't have to write a lot here. I'm going to write B, and then I'm going to write Violet moves into the woods in a cozy cottage. Very sloppily written, but I'm trying to write quickly. Ooh, that's terrible writing. Don't write like me. And then in the middle, animals come to welcome her, right? So I'm going to put an M. Animals come to welcome her. And I ran out of room, so I'm going to write it on the bottom. The end, they all make dinner and eat together. Okay. And now the why. So, why did all those animals come to visit her? I think I know. I think all the animals came to visit her because they were being what we call neighborly and kind. And that was your challenge yesterday, to be kind, help around the house, send a letter to somebody. I have to say that I absolutely loved what some of your parents sent me that you did. It really touched my heart. It was so awesome. So anyway, so that why. So I'm going to fill in that they came to welcome her, right? They came to welcome her to the neighborhood. So now, I want you to, so you should be done. Okay, you're going to do this with one of your books. But something else that you can do with it, instead of doing that with one of your books, is those of you who really love to create your own stories, you can use this as what we call a graphic organizer, and it can help you organize your thoughts to write your own story. So who do you want to be in your story? Where is your story going to take place? When is it going to take place? What happens in your story, and why does that happen? And then if you do that, maybe over the weekend or when you have some other free time, you can use that and put it all together to create your own story. And if you do that, I would love to see it. So before I go, I want to show you our scallions. Here they come. Holy guacamole. Do you see that? I'm going to pull this one out of the measuring glass. It's going to be stinky. No, but seriously, look at that. Can you believe how much this has shot out of the chopped scallion? Insane. I'll pull the other ones out so you can see them better too. I cannot wait to show them to you on Monday to see how much they've changed. Can't get this third one out. Oh, I really stuck my finger in the oniony water. But look, that one's shot out too as well. So cool. So I hope you all had a great first week of home instruction. I hope next week is even better. Don't forget to go check out our new Seesaw page. That's where I am going to be uploading eventually the Dory Phantasmagory book that I'll be reading aloud. And I did not forget about our books that I asked you to vote on the other day. I wanted to give everybody a chance to respond. Ooh, I lost my light. Hold on. I was using the books to prop up my computer. All right, forget about the light. So the book that won was the book from my childhood, The Thingamajig's Book of Manners. So I will record this and post it up on our page as well for you to enjoy. I hope you get a lot of laughs out of this book. This is definitely one to read with your parents. I think they'll, or listen to with your parents. I think they'll enjoy it as well. Have a wonderful weekend. I can't wait to talk to you on Monday. And if you have any questions or need any help, you know how to get in touch with me. And here is Otto with the answer to today's joke. Oh, wait, before I bring Otto back on, I want to talk about Seesaw very, very quickly. Seesaw is a place where we can all actually talk to each other. So Mr. Bocchino's class has been doing it for a few days now, and they have like a little group chat, like a morning meeting every day. So I'm hoping that maybe next week we can get that rolling a little bit. We can share videos, we can share pictures, and we can message each other back and forth, and everybody can see it. So I hope you will check it out over the weekend, see how it's working. I'll be around, not going anywhere. So if you need to get in touch with me over the weekend, I will be here. And now, here's Otto. Happy Fri-YAY, everybody. Love you. Oh, and our doodle today. I forgot that. That first, and then Otto. Bye, guys.
What does a cloud wear under his raincoat? Thunderwear.